So I want to teach you the skill that I share with other couples of mine. And after I teach you the skill, I'm going to talk about when I would recommend that you use it. And lastly, what about it that works? So the skill that I am going to be teaching today is really active listening. The very specific style I'm teaching you, I learned from imago therapy, which is another kind of therapy used for couples. And it's really a nice way to slow down conflicts. So this is how it works. Again, I'm going to teach you how it works first, then when to use it, and then why it works. So it involves you consciously agreeing to have this kind of conversation. It's a very structured format. And in that format, what's going to happen is one person is going to speak. They're not going to speak this much. They're not going to do a monologue. They're just going to talk a bit. So following my hand, they're going to talk, blah, 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 blah. And as they're talking, the other person is not saying a thing. When they are finished, then the other person tries to summarize. And the person says, so you are saying da 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 da, or what I heard was blah, 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 blah. So they're trying to summarize as best they can. When their summary is finished, they do a check-in. Did I get that right? Did I get that? Yeah? They're trying to verify that they did an okay summary. Okay? And assuming they get that, yep, then that person that was just listening, then they are going to start talking, blah, 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 talking. And meanwhile, the other person that was first speaking, they are now quiet and they are listening. So this person finishes talking, and then it's time for the other person to summarize. So they say, so what you're saying is blah, 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 blah. Okay? Makes sense so far? And then after they summarize, they're going to check in again. Did I get that right? Okay. And then they're going to go again. If they are asking a question, so I'm wondering about da, 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 da. This person needs to summarize the question. So many times we answer a question that was never asked. We answer something because of what we thought we heard, and in the end, it wasn't what was really being said. So that person is going to summarize the question, make sure they got it. Am I understanding it right? Yeah? Okay. And then they're going to answer it. Okay? And then it's the next person's time again to respond. So, and then they're going to speak again. And the person's going to summarize. Now, what happens if this person summarizes wrong? So they say, blah, 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 blah. Did I get that right? No. If the summary is not correct, this person over here that first was speaking can say, you missed the part where I said da, 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 da. This is only an opportunity for correction. This is not an opportunity for another long monologue. Not an opportunity to make another point. Not that at all. It is simply to correct or to clarify a part that this person missed. Okay? So they say, nope, you missed, blah, 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 blah. This person summarizes that. Oh, okay, and da, 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 da. Now did I get that right? Yes. Okay? And then they continue on, back and forth like that. I hope that makes sense. Okay? So it's very structured. It's very even-paced. If someone is sarcastic and they're saying something nasty, so I think you are a jerk and I think you shouldn't live anymore. I don't know what would be said. And I have to make this a clean videotape, right? So then the other person will say, so you think I stink and you're saying that you don't think I should be living anymore, right? Right. Okay. And it's fine to kind of repeat that sarcasm. It's fine to repeat those negative comments. It's fine. Okay? I don't want you parroting. Parroting means I don't want you to say exactly what the other person said. It's summarizing. So you do this until things have calmed down and hopefully you've reached a conclusion. When do you do this? You do this when you are engaging in a conversation that there's a lot of conflict. There's really a lot of energy, a lot of heated action going on, and you really want to slow down and you're really trying to work on just being more thoughtful in the conversation and just not hitting a cycle so badly, not getting into a conflict so quickly. So what I'd recommend if you're going to do this is you actually, if you say you've already had a conflict and you say, let's do that thing, and you can call this whatever you want. I call it the infinity conversation. That's what I call it, just because of the symbol. I think the symbol is helpful. You can call it whatever you want. I also do use this signal, and this hand signal, as a way to kind of indicate it. But call it whatever you want. But so after the conflict has happened, or if you know there's going to be a complicated conversation, you might want to say, hey, let's do that infinity conversation. Or if the conversation has already gone bust, when you guys are in a quieter space, say, hey, let's try to do this conversation again with the infinity conversation. Okay? Let's try to do this again. So you do it consciously. You can't just be automatically kind of slipping into it and expect your partner to be there. If one person is the only one interested in doing this, it's not going to work. You both have to be motivated to do this. That being said, I will say that there's times if you do a job summarizing and speaking, it might slow down the conversation enough that your partner might start engaging and doing that with you. Okay? Okay. And why does this work? Why do I suggest that you do this? So first of all, biologically, when we are having a really heated conversation, adrenaline is happening, we're getting that whole fight or flight thing going on, we're getting very reactive, and when we're getting really reactive like that, our brain isn't thinking, and so that's why we start saying things that later on we regret, or doing things that later on we regret, whether it would be leads a conversation, whether we slam things down, whatever. So one positive benefit to this is it engages the brain. And by you engaging the brain, because the brain has to be present, by me listening to you and being able to summarize, my brain is involved. That is slowing down the process. So it's going to be calming down that urge to do the whole fight or flight. It's slowing that down so that you're going to have less reactions and less kind of outburst behavior per se. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is so many times in our conflicts, we are talking to our partner or our spouse and maybe even yelling at them because we're not feeling heard. What this does in the summary is you are showing your partner that you actually did hear. You're not only listening, but you are hearing and you are repeating it back to them. And that really helps the person feel soothed that, gosh, you are paying attention. You may not agree with it, but you are at least listening and hearing what is being said. So that is helpful. Okay? Third, this is slowing you down because you are having to stay so focused on them, on what they're saying, and you want to make sure then that they get your message, that you're going to learn you can't do these really, really, really long speeches. Because if you do that, your partner is no way they can summarize it. So, and also when you do these speeches, what happens? You lose your partner. They can't follow it. It's too much content. So another benefit of this is it forces you to narrow down, to really think, what am I trying to say here? You spit it out fairly concisely enough that your partner or your spouse can repeat it or summarize it. And that helps you be more clear in your message and helps you be more thoughtful and slow down your own process. So the downfall of this whole kind of strategy is it can make conversations slow, okay? It can make it very tedious. That's certainly what I've heard from people saying. And that's real. What I will say, though, I would much rather have a tedious conversation that is successful, where we actually communicate, versus a very fast and furious, intense argument where our feelings are hurt and we've done nothing but damage one another. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to share about this. Also, as far as when to do it, I also would add, although I teach this for my couples, I've also had parents do this a lot with their teenagers. Because again, it's the same thing. It's about slowing down the conversation. So, If you want to practice this, what I would encourage is, again, I would start with a really safe topic. I would not use some really hard thing. Something that's funny, that's simple, like what to eat for dinner tonight. So one person says, well, I am thinking about going to Chipotle's because they have some good food. So then the person summarizes, so you're thinking about going to Chipotle because you're thinking the food's good. Did I get that right? Yeah. Okay, well, it feels kind of like fast food right now for me, and I really don't want that. I want more of a sit-down situation that's more relaxed and we're going to get served. So you're saying you want more of a sit-down situation and not so much fast food. Am I getting that right? Yeah. Okay. Well, would it matter to you that you get served, or is it just that you need a place to sit down? So I'm asking a question. So you're asking me if the serving is the important part, or if it's just okay that we sit down. Am I getting that right? Yes. Okay, I want them both. So you want them both. Exactly. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? And we're just playing back and forth. I strongly encourage you do 3, 5, maybe 8 silly conversations. Space them out over days, not all in one day. But space them out, practice this, have fun with it. Really, it can be really silly, but it can be a lot of fun. Do that so that then you have some good skills. So then when something's a little dicey, you are able to actually have that conversation. Okay? Okay, I think you got this. You always have this videotape as an option to review. If you think that this has been helpful, and I'm hoping that you have, then definitely I encourage that you share this with others. You never know who else might need this kind of video or this kind of information. But if you use Facebook, if you push that share button, it spreads out to whoever. And that way then other people that you don't even know can benefit and learn from this, which, hey, the less conflicts we have in this world, again, it's a win for all of us. So there's that. And also, if you think that perhaps I might be helpful in your relationship to address kind of communication or connecting that you guys have going on, definitely feel free to reach out to me. Again, my name is Bree McCarroll, and my website is www.newenglandholdmetight.com. Okay, I want you to succeed, so go forth, do it. Take care for now. Bye-bye.